We are talking about making your home business fly, so working from home and making it work. I know that many of us, definitely starting up a business, we are working from home and we have lots of commitments, so how do we make it work? Today's subject matter expert is Sherry. She's an author, holistic business life coach expert. So this week's guest speaker, Anne, is going to be Sherry, and she also has a book that's called Working from Home and Making It Work, and she's going to be elaborating on that today. So hopefully Sherry will be your go-to person on everything from work-life balance, healthy and lasting relationships, and she's going to be talking about embracing change as well and visions. So at this point, I'm going to pass this on to our guest speaker today, Sherry.
Thank you very much, Carla. I'm very excited to be here on the webinar with you and share with you my learnings and my successes and my stories over the last almost 3 decades. So we'll go on to the first slide, and we'll talk a little bit about what we're going to be covering today. First of all, set goals that you are more inclined to stick with or stick to. We're going to gain a better perspective on your time. And we're going to learn how to evaluate and course correct as needed. We're going to work on your business and not just in your business. That's something that I think a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs are very challenged with. When the business is there, they run and do it, and they don't keep the other plate spinning as far as planning. So we're going to touch on that as well. And we're going to summarize and touch also on the importance of and the power of communication with yourself and certainly with others. We're going to be covering so much today, so I hope you have pen in hand. Certainly make your questions highlighted for the end, and if I can help you in any way after the webinar, certainly fire me off an email as well. So let's get moving into the first slide, and that's going to be setting goals that you are more inclined to stick to. We're going to go over 2 things, and that's vision questions and wheel of life. And let me tell you a little bit about why I started with this slide. You're probably thinking, make your business fly. So, do I have some tricks up my sleeve, marketing, this, that, and the other? There's lots and lots of things that you can learn and relearn about your business fly, but you also want it to be sustainable. You want to be able to set goals that you know that you can actually achieve and that you are really, really, really connected to. And so the vision questions that we're going to be going through in just a moment are really going to help you do that. You're going to get really, really clear about what matters to you, what doesn't matter to you. And we're also going to talk about the work-life balance and all the things that are important to you as a whole in your life. Again, one of the biggest challenges I find with most small business owners and entrepreneurs. So let's go to the vision questions first. So there's, I believe, 6 or 7 questions here, and we're going to go with number 1 first. Now, I'll just expand a little bit on each one. Again, make some notes, and you're going to get a copy of this later. So if you were to create your dream, your vision for your life and your business in particular, and have the ability to live it, what would that look like? And I encourage you to explore this without limits. Think about how it would change your life. Really get attached to it, because there's lots of things we say we want, but we wonder why we don't actually achieve it. And we really don't go through the entire process of understanding the impact of that goal and achieving it in our life. And we don't always include others around us as well, and that can really give you a lot of leverage in staying with a goal that really matters to you. So that's why we're going through these vision questions first. So if you were to create your dream vision and have the ability to live it, what would that look like, and how would that change your life? Number 2 is, how would you describe your current situation? You got to get real. You got to know what's working and what's not working, what you're satisfied with and what you're not satisfied with. And then you can start looking at those things and noticing what you need to do more of and what you need to do less of, or how you need to change things overall. So let's go on to number 3. What are your greatest concerns? And you'll notice that right beside that question, I elaborate a little bit more. And this is really important. It takes a little bit of thinking. So you'll probably be thinking about this a few days from now, actually. If some of your greatest concerns have to do with what you believe, if they're belief-based, allow yourself to notice if they're your beliefs or someone else's, and discern whether these beliefs are serving you and those you care about, your family, or hurting you. Do you have a fear of success? Do you believe certain things are possible and certain things aren't possible? You can say you want something, but if deep down inside you don't believe it's possible, you don't believe in yourself, then you could be setting yourself up for some serious frustration. So acknowledge what your greatest concerns are and dig a little deeper. So number 4. Let's go to number 4. Now, this is a really great step, and I don't think small business owners and entrepreneurs do this enough. In fact, maybe all of us, no matter what role we're in, we don't concentrate on this part. What steps have you taken to live and work larger and manifest your ideal vision for your life? Think about that for a minute. Think about it in a way that you realize and you notice and you list all the things you're doing right. We don't stop long enough in our very busy days, busy work days, busy family days. We don't stop long enough to acknowledge the progress we've made, the things we're doing right, the steps we are taking to live and work larger and manifest your ideal vision for your life. So again, I know you're going to want to spend way more time than what we can right this second, but start thinking about that. Get the juices flowing, and I bet you could spend the rest of the afternoon. This is the kind of these are the kind of questions, this webinar that we're doing in 30 minutes that I often spend 3 hours with participants in. So we're just going to scratch the surface, and let's move now to number 5. What's stopping you? That's a big question. Just 3 words, but that's a huge question. What is stopping you? If you think the answer is outside of you, that's a serious concern. If you can dig a little deeper again, go inside and ask yourself what's stopping you. What's inside of you that holds you back? If there are challenges time-wise, if you're at a certain stage of your life and what you wanted in your 20s you want now in your 40s, but you have a lot more responsibilities in your 40s, you have to reevaluate and replan your goals so they fit into this new stage in your life. So notice and acknowledge what's stopping you. What are your challenges? Okay, let's go to the next number. What are your most critical action steps that you need to take to move forward? And there are probably several. Maybe you're doing some of them, but maybe some of them you need to do more of. So what are your most critical action steps you need to take to move forward? One of them just simply might be getting in your office at 8 or 9 in the morning and starting with activities that are going to grow your business. And picking up the phone and sending that email and doing that follow-up and being very, very consistent. And being also mindful of how many new people you're connecting with and reconnecting with and what kind of information you're putting out there and what kind of image and foundation you are creating and building for your company. Maybe it's just that instead of doing everything but. Administration is important. Accounting is important, especially if you're a solopreneur and you are not in a position to have someone else do it. However, if you're worrying about those things all the time, you can't grow your business and push paper at the same time. You've got to concentrate on what grows your business, do that, and then plan on the admin at a time when you're less likely to be in front of your client or perhaps even have the energy to be in front of your client, if you know what I mean. So let's go to number 7. And then we'll move on to the Wheel of Life. Number 7 is what do you need to do first? So prioritize those steps that you know that are going to make a difference. You've probably heard and read a lot about goal setting. And you've probably set goals and planned for your year. Maybe you did it in your last quarter of 2012, which I hope you did. If you've just started in 2013, I hope this is giving you another layer of thinking, another layer of things to consider to really set a solid foundation for growth and success, meaningful success, what matters to you for your year 2013. So what do you need to do first? Prioritize. All right, we're going to move on to the Wheel of Life, I believe. So now I want you to draw this diagram. I hope you're all keeping up. Draw this diagram real quick, and I want you to just notice what's on the outside of this wheel, all the different areas of our life. This is where we're going to talk a little bit about the holistic approach to our goals and to our life and where we're satisfied and where we're not and how it's all connected. So we'll move now on to, hopefully everyone's had time to draw the circle and the spokes and the different areas of our life, and we're going to see this picture once more, but let's move on to the instructions now. Next slide. All right, so the Wheel of Life instructions, here we go. This exercise is really easy to do and speaks to the elusive balance that we all strive for. The center of the circle represents 0, and the outer circle represents 10. You simply indicate by a mark on each of the spokes, that's the lines, your level of satisfaction in each area of your life. For example, the halfway point on each line represents 5. Once you've put a mark on each of the lines, simply connect the dots, the marks, to create your Wheel of Life. This offers considerable insight and awareness about where you're at and what and where you can and would like to make any changes. I think what you'll also notice, and what I'm always excited about when I look at this, and I encourage people to do it on a pretty regular basis, whether it's a couple of times a year, seasonally, or even once a year at least, is that there's so many things in our lives that are interconnected. So let's move to the next slide, and you'll see a sample of someone filling out their Wheel of Life. Now, if you imagine a wheel and it's round, and it gets you around if it's on a car, this shape might not get you very far. But I don't want you to focus so much on that and think that it's a hopeless circle. I want you to notice it with its potential. Let's face it, whether you're 20 or 30 or 50 or 60, it doesn't matter. There are going to be things that matter to you most or more at different stages in your life. So even if you have a rating in one particular area of 5, that might not be of critical importance to you. So you do still have to do some prioritizing here. But I want to give you an example of how it's all connected. Let's say that you want to increase your career and wealth. Well, they're pretty tied in. So that's a pretty obvious connection. So if you do certain things in your career to get you in front of more people and engaging more people and educating and providing knowledge to more people about what you do and who you are and how you can help them, then obviously the potential of success in your career is going to go up, your wealth is going to go up, and if you're engaging people, new people all the time, perhaps more in social media, more in networking, in your business community, perhaps you're helping your community as a whole and building your network that way, then your social and friends is going to go up somewhat as well. So you see how it's all connected. It's not like, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do in all these areas. So let's move on. I'll let you sit with that and again address any questions afterwards. We're moving now to the next point on the first slide, and that is gain a better perspective on your time. And this is one of my favorites that I work with many of my clients on. So many times in going through this process with my clients, I've seen them save an hour and 2 a day and become really productive and much more conscious and much more collaborative in the way that they run their home and the way they run their businesses, depending on the people that are involved. So when you spread yourself too thin, it is hard to be your best self. And when you do this, it's even harder to be in integrity, think clearly, and worse yet, act or speak the way you would under better circumstances. Have you ever said there's just not enough hours in the day, or where has this day gone? Well, I initially created the Wellness Journal to help my clients and colleagues, actually and myself, get a handle on their use of time, or as often was the case, get a handle on how and who else was using or consuming their time. Let's go to the next slide. It's very simple, and you can customize the Wellness Journal the way you see fit for your particular circumstances. I want to underscore that detail is really helpful here, but not to the point where it will inhibit you from following through the process. Every one of us has 168 hours in our week. That's 7 days times 24 hours. I do encourage you to pick a relatively normal week, and I chuckle about that because you're probably rolling your eyes right about now and saying, normal, what week is normal? I'll leave that for you to discern. And commit to that week and write, type, or record in some way all that makes up your day, even acknowledging the rest that you allow yourself to get. And that is really, really important in order to be effective at what you do long term and actually allow you to enjoy the process. Note everything you do for yourself, for your family, your friends, work, etc. Quite likely, well before the week is up, you will begin to see some areas that you can make adjustments in to help things run more efficiently and productively. All right, so let's move to the next slide. I'll let you just digest that a little bit. And we're going to move to another exercise. So we're really getting your brain stimulated today. And I thank you in advance for keeping up, and I look forward to your questions at the end. So now we're going to talk a little bit about how to evaluate and course correct as needed. I love this exercise. Another one of my favorites, and some of these exercises are actually in my book as well. And it's about integrated thinking. It is the natural mode of thought of successful individuals like you, who move continually between attention, what you pay attention to, and your intentions, between information you have and the actions you want to take. Integrated thinking allows strong minds to make their intentions real. It is thinking for achievement. Now, I'm hoping that you've caught your breath with the other questions and the Wheel of Life. We're going to move right into the next 4 questions in the integrated thinking exercise. So we're going to move to the next slide. All right. So what you can do with integrated thinking is to really focus on what you want and make those choices and your actions stick more so. So perhaps in a different way than what we did with the vision questions, I want you to take a moment to focus on what you want. It might be helpful to begin with, I intend to. That might be, like we talked about earlier, I intend to be in my office at 8:30 every single morning, Monday to Thursday. Maybe Friday is your networking day or your admin day or what have you. And to grow my business activities first. I intend to create more work-life balance, whether it's spending more time with your children, spending more time with your partner, not being in your office at 11 o'clock in the evening. Not that that's a bad thing in and of itself, but you've got to know what works for you. So take a moment, focus on what you want, and possibly start with I intend if you need to get the juices flowing. So number 2. For one goal or outcome that you've selected, begin to sketch or list everything you know about where you are now and about what you will see, hear, and feel when you have achieved what you want. Again, this is just getting to another layer, getting really real about where you're at now, but also really getting connected to the goal and knowing what it's going to feel like. Vision what it's going to feel like and what it's going to look like when you've achieved what you want, and perhaps who is going to benefit besides you, your clients, your family, the people that you live your life with. So I'm going to read that one more time because that takes a little bit more concentration. For one goal or outcome that you've perhaps noted here, begin to sketch or list everything you know about where you are now. So acknowledge where you are now and notice and acknowledge what you will see, hear, and feel when you've achieved what you want. What you want. I want to underscore what you want, not what other people want. Yes, it's good to take into consideration what your family and what your business partners want and those kinds of things, but you've got to be attached to it. If you're the driving force, you better be attached to it. So let's move on to number 3. Next slide. All right, for the same goal or outcome, notice what is missing. Another big thing. We can set goals, but if we don't look at the whole picture, we don't really set the proper game plan in place, and as a result, we don't follow all the steps we need to follow in order to create what we are capable of creating. So what do you need to do, learn, or acquire in order to achieve what you want? Well, perhaps half of it is, a great example is that you're taking this webinar, that you want to make working from home work for you. So you're listening in and looking for some really good meat to get you going for the year 2013 to have your best year yet. So what do you need to learn? What else do you need to learn, do, or acquire in order to achieve what you want? Perhaps you're at a stage of your business where you know that it's time to consider subcontracting some of your work. It might even be hiring someone to do your bookkeeping if you're not at that stage yet. There's lots of different stages and levels that you get to in your business. And it doesn't matter if it's a small business, home-based business, or a corporate business. There's all those different steps. You have to think about that. Consider what you want from different angles and positions and notice the limits of what you can perceive. Ask yourself, what do I need to believe in order to achieve this? Remember what I mentioned earlier. If if you've heard all your life what's not possible, and deep down you have this negative self-talk, but you really want to achieve something that could be absolutely amazing and you think you can do it, if those thoughts are constantly contradicting one another, that's really going to get in your way and sabotage your success. Number 4 is notice the impact your results have on other people in other parts of your life. Imagine that the results you get sends ripples outward. I love this one. This is phenomenal. Most people, again, no matter what goals they're setting in life, don't take enough time for this. This is not about, will my partner, my husband or wife, agree with me, or they don't believe in this as much as I do, or they're just going to complain about this, or my kids don't get it, or my parents don't get it. It's not about that. It's about creating synergy in your life, and it's about noticing the impact of your results, just acknowledging it. You're going to do what you're going to do, but if you acknowledge it and you start to see the ripples of that choice that you could be making to move towards that particular goal, when you start to notice the impact and you see the potential consequences, is that what you really want? And if it isn't, the buck stops here. You can modify. It doesn't mean you throw the goal out. You modify it, tweak it, so it has the chance to have life, and you have the chance to succeed and embrace it and enjoy it. So I'm sure that you're getting to the point where it's like, oh, there's so much to think about here. So we're going to bring it down a notch or two. We're going to move to the next slide. And again, I look forward to engaging with you some questions and help you dig a little deeper with what I presented with you to you so far. So the next slide on your screen is work on your business, not just in your business. Use the processes we went over today to get clear about what you want and what you don't want. I encourage you to set a game plan in place that works for you and stick to it. 21 days it takes to create a habit, a good habit or a bad habit. I would encourage you to stick with it longer than 21 days. Check it off your calendar. Whatever you want to do new that's going to affect the growth of your business, please do it. Check it off your calendar 21 days in a row. You can do 21 days business days. That's totally fine. It's the same thing as if you're exercising. It's never easy to do in the beginning. But I'll also tell you something that I often tell myself when I'm embracing something new. It's hard until it's not. You decide when it's no longer hard to do. There are many things, if you think back in your life, that you have done, and in the beginning it was really hard and you thought, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? You know, this is going to kill me. Or you're very afraid, or you're very unsure about what the next steps are, or you're lacking a bit of confidence. But when you got through the whole process and you stuck with it, you saw success in it, you know, that was unbelievable, and you were so proud of your accomplishment. You have to think about those times to help you in moments when you're embracing something new again. So that's why I say 21 days or more, 30 days is great. Stick with the new changes you want to implement, and you will succeed. Always include planning time in your schedule. Make appointments with yourself regularly. When I'm doing planning, I will actually write in my appointment book, in my day timer, 90 minutes for pre-planning, or finalizing notes on a speaking engagement or a workshop that I've created or something like that. Even when I'm meeting with clients, I want to familiarize myself with maybe some of their concerns and challenges, refresh myself on their file. I will take 15 or 20 or 30 minutes to do that prior to my appointment with them. And I slot that in. If I didn't, I would not have cushion time and I would always be chasing my tail. If you ever felt that way, consider making appointments with yourself to do the things you know support the growth of your business and your effectiveness in it, underscore your effectiveness in it. And next is evaluate regularly and course correct as needed. I've given you some tools. Again, it's a short time to be with you today, but I certainly have given you some tools that will very much help you. And then daily disciplines. That kind of goes to what we've been talking about as far as planning, making an appointment with yourself, sticking with it for 21 days or 30 days to help you solidify the changes, to make those changes feel more natural. We have many examples in our life where we've done that. I also want to share with you another little quote that I put in my book to do with daily disciplines. Respect your time. Treat this like a real business. It's a real business. If you wanted to reward you financially and otherwise the way so-called real jobs or real businesses do, treat it like a real business. Go to work like a real business, like you would if you were working for someone else. So respect your time and reward your actions. Don't take time off just because you can. I love the flexibility as an entrepreneur and small business owner. That's why I've been one for so many years. However, I don't take time off, just off the cuff. If I have to take time off or I want that flexibility, I always rebook that business time in another slot in my calendar and make sure that whatever work was planned, follow-up or otherwise, is in my schedule so I know that it's going to get done. And I do really prioritize. Again, that is something very, very important. I would like to share with you, in closing on this particular slide, and we're nearing the end of our webinar, a phenomenal poem I actually got permission to include in my book, and it's called Who Am I? I am your constant companion. I am your greatest helper or heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I am completely at your command. Half the things you do, you might just as well turn over to me, and I will be able to do them quickly and correctly. I am easily managed. You must merely be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done, and after a few lessons, I will do it automatically. I am the servant of all great individuals, and alas, of all failures as well. Those who are great, I have made great. Those who are failures, I have made failures. I am not a machine, though I work with all the precision of a machine plus the intelligence of a human. You may run me for a profit or run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will place the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I will destroy you. Who am I? Well, I've given you the answer at the bottom of this slide. It's habit. I am habit. I find that when I read that poem for me, it reinforces to me how important my choices are, even the choices when I don't choose. And that is a choice in and of itself. So let's go to the next slide. We're almost done. Rediscover the importance and power of communication. Well, I've alluded to that a lot in the last half hour, and the one that I've talked about most or alluded to the most is the conversations you are having with yourself. Communication with yourself is key. What you say on the inside has to be congruent with what you say on the outside and to others. If it's not, I guarantee you, you will move very slowly in your business. You will make a few strides, and then you'll pull back a little. You'll make a few strides, and then you'll pull back a little. So work on that part. It is an area that will, when you work on it, really strengthen your capacity to create solutions and success in your business and in your life as a whole. Be mindful of the impression you wish to give It is definitely in the details, and your reputation depends on it. Regardless of whether you're communicating on social media these days, how you present yourself, how you dress when you go out to meet clients, colleagues, etc. And in this day and age of technology, don't forget the personal touch. I'm amazed at the way some people even communicate on email these days, and that's your reputation. Make sure that you are thinking about how you are coming across and the intention and the feel that you want to project in every way, shape, and form, and you're communicating on all platforms. Again, whether it's email, whether it's phone, whether it's your cell phone. Don't pick it up if you're in the middle of something. Twitter, LinkedIn, etc., etc. So we'll move now to the next slide, which I think we're close to being finished. Yes, we are. I'd like to share with you in closing, wow, right on 11:30, that the paperback and ebook versions are actually now available for you to consider in the IC bookstore on my website. It's right there on the screen, insightfulcommunications.ca. And you'll also be able to enjoy some of the other blogs that I've written about working from home and making it work. And now I'm ready for questions.
Thank you, Sherry. That was great. I always love it. I always love hearing you speak. So any questions? I'm going to stop the recording right now.